Alright, g'day, hi and welcome. Hopefully my camera's in the right angle. About almost 12:30. A little bit late. That's not too bad out today. Ugh, I snared myself already. I was like, what? Testing my own snares on me. I got a whole bunch of snares. I'm just gonna go back and check my traps there. Okay. You hold down the fork, Goof. Yeah. Alright, so provided I left my other thing, my other toque at home, thinking it's nice and sunny today. It's not gonna be that cold. That wind seems cold already. Keeping broadhead a little bit further down. Last thing I want to do is slip and fall on that. Freaking ice capades everywhere. Try not to strangle myself out with my wool snares. And yeah, I'm gonna save my or rescue my two Kana bears. Got the Fred Bear Super Mag 48 out with me today. What's going on with the camera? Can't tell if it's in the right spot or not. It always seems like it's too low, but then when I look at the footage usually looks okay. Hard to do this with covered up. Anyway, it's like, I'll get this right. Okay, yeah, so there we go. Got my Fred Bear Super Mag 48 loaded, ready to go. 10 wolf snares with me. Hope you guys can see that. Don't have any calls. Knife of the day is my Beast or SP10 Marine Raider, Ontario knife SP10 Marine Raider. I have this just in case I get a quick shot at something. Not too much I can hunt right now, but if there was a wolf, whatever, it's not too cold for the bow, so I don't know if I'd take it out in minus 25, and I think it'd ruin it. These things, they actually quite, this thing's been out in the weather quite a bit. I'm kind of surprised how well it's held up over the years, although I've yet to kill something with it. But yeah, so anyway, figured rather than carrying the heavy rifle, I'll carry a bunch of snares and my bow. Okay, oh, feels like 3 in the afternoon. It's like 12:30. Here's what I got to do. Last night when I went and checked my traps, the dam had sunk about 4 inches, driving my traps into the mud, effectively basically ending those two traps in those two spots. So obviously if the water went down again last night, which it probably did, my traps would be driven like right into the mud. Hopefully it didn't damage my traps. You know, you got basically 3 inches of ice layer coming down on it. All right, but the topic of today's video, I should have said it right off the get-go. I got to start doing that so when I look at my footage, I'll know where I'm at and know what to title the video. But basically, fur prices. Am I doing all this for nothing? Fur prices are pretty devastating right now. I looked at the fur harvesters auction for 2018-2019 season, which was, you know, like the way the auctions go is there's a few of them, and usually about 3 major ones, and a lot of them go over to Helsinki, Finland. And what they do is the biggest buyers are broken into basically 2 groups. Group 1 is going to be buyers who are building like fur coats and stuff like that, and that's what you'd call like the fashion industry types, right? Fur coats, you know, the fashion statement stuff. And that's the prime stuff that gets you the big dollars. But the problem is that's based solely upon trends, and right now it's basically like Eastern Europeans still like fur coats, and the Chinese. So like the Chinese, they're big on the fur. The like the Russians, the you know, Eastern Europeans, Ukraine, Finland, I guess, would be big. They're big into the fur fashion, you know, Estonia, Latvia, you know, all those very feminine Eastern European women tend to look very good in the furs. and it becomes a, you know, a status symbol and so that. But that is kind of weird, the way that trend goes, because you know, like for example, when it became fashionable to become a PETA member about 10 years ago, 12 years ago, it kind of dropped the fur price out, and then people started seeing PETA for what they were and stuff like that, and they don't have a clue about anything. Like a lot of these animal rights activist types, you know, like they get an idea in their head and they have a Disney view of nature, right? So they really don't understand how nature works around like that. So for them, like, you can't reason with them, you can't bargain with them or whatever. And we got a whole bunch of laws, like for example here in Quebec, like your right to trap and stuff like that, that, you know, if people are harassing you on your trap line, you can take legal action against them if it gets to that. Up in my parts, not something I'm really worried about, you know, around my area, but some people it is, you know, they always get that one neighbor that's you know, a real whack job on everything, you know, and I'm fortunate I don't have that problem. But saw the glare off my broadhead there. It's like, that's pretty shiny. So that's one area, right? The second area is utility fur, and this is more for you, like your middle class people like me who you know, want to stay warm, you know, or whatever, or like your Westerners that like their cowboy hats. Right now, this is kind of dictating the market, is basically utility fur, and it was devastating the last past two. Now there's problem is in when I'm listening to other trappers on this, again, because you guys, you know how my Not Reg Me channel, you know, was a geopolitical channel and stuff like that. I followed a lot of things, you know, stuff that YouTube doesn't want us to talk about, because YouTube is the globalist system. You know, unfortunately, it just is what it is. We know who owns what, who hangs around with who, and follow the money, you figure it out. And one of the things we run into is that most of these guys that are doing the fur trade stuff have no idea what's going on in the world. I'm not saying they're stupid or like that, but they're not paying. They're like your average middle class guy, doesn't pay attention to the news, doesn't pay attention to, you know what I mean? Like, he just has kind of like a bit of an obliviousness to what's really going on out there. And the economy is horrible globally. And I mean, a lot of Americans think that, oh no, it's just everybody else's economy sucks and ours is really good. No, the American economy is probably one of the worst economies out there, next to the Chinese one. And you'd say, yeah, but they're the two biggest out there. Yeah, but they're also the two biggest debted nations in the world, right? Where other economies are a lot rougher on the surface that you see, but, you know, it's like, I'm not saying they're fixing the problem, but their problem, no matter what, will never be as bad as when the US economy finally lets go. And you got a lot of guys out there saying, no, Trump has fixed the economy, he's done all this great stuff, but he hasn't really. He's just lying. Like, if you follow the numbers, a good guy to follow is Greg Manarino and Greg Hunter. I like those two guys a lot. Greg Hunter, it took him a little, he's still coming around on, you know, what the reality is, but he's an honest man. And you know, it's like, yeah, he does a little bit of fear porn when he talks about the economy and stuff like that, and that has so much importance, because a bad economy means no disposable income, meaning whether it's utility fur or it's fashion fur, particularly fashion fur, only the really upper classes will be buying those kind of furs, right? So obviously your fur market's going to drop. So yes, you would think, okay, yes, we're doing a sustainable kind of, you know, using the natural environment as our business, which is great. Working from home, that's great, and putting in tons of hours, a lot of work. And you would say, okay, well, you know, this is totally sustainable. Well, the universal law of supply and demand dictates nothing. There is no such thing as job security. So this is why, like, a lot of trappers, not all of them are in it for the money. There's a lot easier ways to make a living. Right now, I have nothing else coming in. it's that time of year where just there is no employment, you know what I mean? Like it just is what it is. And I'm not on like welfare or anything like that. I've been self-employed for over 12 years, and it's, you know, the past 2.5 or so has been an extreme struggle for me because of you know, the YouTube algorithms and stuff like that. So, you know, those of you who've been following me for a while, you know, I'm always wonking and crying about it. And it does stress you out, you know, like you know, that constant not having money or knowing if you're gonna be able to pay your bills next month. And fortunately, I'm not in debt like a lot of people. Oh, got some new wolf or coyote. Looks fairly fresh though. It must be from this morning. Maybe one of these are for him if I don't catch myself in it first. So the point is that I have to rethink of how I'm going to make money at this. So most of you guys out there are just thinking of the furs. You've already lost. No, the fur is just one aspect of the animal. You've got bones, you've got skulls, you've got claws, you've got and some of them glands and stuff like that. And you're going to get money for that stuff if you know how to market it. Take jewelry, necklaces and stuff like that. Cheap stuff, 10 bucks, 15 bucks, 40 bucks. That stuff is probably you're gonna make more money off. Think of all the vertebrae in whatever fur-bearing animal you have. And you say, I got 12 vertebrae or whatever, I'll have to count them. And I'll make a jewelry with them. Make a necklace, and each necklace is 10 bucks.